Hello YouTube, RaPsCaLLion here, back with an updated version of my multi-item sorter. I have some improvements over the last version and video that I did, mainly that it's now down to being 2 wide, where we were 3 wide before. It's also a little bit shorter, so you see where it's backed together here. The system itself is 1 block shorter than it used to be, and it includes the chest tower in the design as well, where the chest tower in the former design would have stuck out here. So let's actually call it 2 shorter than what it used to be. I realized also that this actually has overflow capacity built into it. So if your chests happen to all clog up and your hoppers all clog up back to here, if this hopper's full, well then this one's going to open up and it'll just release the item down through. So it'll just push it into your non-sorted chest at the end of your sorter line. I also realized that the timing system here had a bit of a flaw in it, so that if you put items in a specific timing apart from each other, it actually wouldn't match it and it would push the item through as if it wasn't something it had to match. So if I can get this right, I can show you that it breaks. That might do it. We got one item in here, so there. Actually, that worked. So you'll see that the other item pushed out through here. So this actually doesn't help. It only helps if you're putting in multiple items at once. It'll lock and release, lock and release. But it's not set to be locked, which is really what the problem is. It needs to be locked, recognize that an item's in there, and then let it through. But if you put one item in, you see it doesn't actually lock the system. So it'll still accept an item through while the matching item is going through the system for the previous item. And that's where we get something that actually breaks. So I'll show you how we solved for that in the new system. But this works in the exact same manner. You put one item in, it'll go through and match, return the item back into this chest, and it'll spit our item back out here. If there's no match, it just pumps it through the system and it spits it back out on the other side. And here's the same concept design that we had in the last video. You'll see now that I've got it tiled to be 2 wide. So in the same space where we were holding, I think it was only 4 different slices for 4 different item categories, we now have 7 in the exact same space that we had before. So technically this matches items more quickly overall when you have multiple slices set up and you're testing against all these different types of items. It's a shorter distance overall for everything to travel, so things work more quickly in that sense. So how I solved for, and like I said, sorry, I don't have the overflow system in here that I had before because it wasn't necessary. If your hoppers do all fill up, it'll just drop it through and push it into your non-sorted items chest over here. What I did to work out the timing was I have a separate timing mechanism that will it stays locked. So you'll see that this hopper is filled with 3 items powering this block. But once an item comes in here, it actually releases this NOR latch and it pushes the items back through this way and it'll let one item out at a time. If there's no items, it will stay locked. Otherwise, it releases an item every time these 3 redstone torches pass back and forth. So it's timed specifically based on those 3 redstone torches. If I add more torches, it's a longer delay. If I take away torches, shorter delay, but the system can't compensate for anything less than 3 torches right now. So we'll do the same as we did before, and we'll drop our shulker box onto the unloader here, and we'll let it run through the system. So you'll see that our indicator lights will start firing up here shortly as the clock starts letting items in, and there we go. And I say clock, it is technically a clock, but it's not running unless there's something in the hopper to start pushing items back and forth. So there we go. We see that our indicator is working. And it's still not too bad in terms of lag. I'd still love for someone to test this on a server or a survival world where there's a lot more going on, just to see how it holds up and if it's something that's like a viable sorting option. We did also change actually the dropper elevator setup down below. For it to be too wide tileable, it won't work in this format because you're going to bleed redstone signal from one slice into the next. So you actually have to alternate the design a little bit from one here so that it's pushing into a block with redstone behind it, and then your repeater comes off the block beside it, and in the slice right beside it, it's pushing into a block with the redstone over top and then back in. This design actually came from a user on the SciCraft Discord server by the name of Quintuples. Quintuples actually also goes by the name Pomegranate, but has played around with the design a little bit and was the first to introduce sort of the too wide version of this. So thanks Quintuples for the help on sorting this out a little bit. But it is overall a smaller design. It works just as quickly. It's still silent. It's tileable and too wide. We still have our system flush here if we think that things are getting jammed in the droppers. But you'll see that it's matching for all sorts of things here again. Matching for wool and carpet, for glass and panels, terracotta and glazed terracotta, concrete and concrete powder, dark oak items, and then all sorts of vegetation. And again, these are all within the chests here at the back. So you can sort for up to 54 different item types into one chest category in your sorter system. There's our oak, dark oak, our concrete, our terracotta, our glass and panels, and then all our wool and carpet. So let's take a look at this here then when it finishes. Here's just a quick screenshot of some of the background details as the system's running through and sorting. We're still sorting here right now, as you can see, for wool coming through. Or there was wool coming through, but other items are still pumping through, so you can get to see some of the specs of my system as it's going through. Okay, our sorting system's done. You'll see our indicator lights are all off, and we should have all our wool and carpet in this chest, all our glass items here, our terracotta items here, concrete and powder, dark oak. Again, notice that our 16 stackable sign is in here. This system does handle 64 and 16 stackable items. We've got our oak in here, and we have our vegetation items here. Everything left over should be pushed through to our non-sorted chest. So you'll see some redstone items. Our non-stackable items get pushed through here as well, and including the shulker box that we unloaded at the beginning. So that's all there is to it. I hope you guys enjoy the videos, and hopefully we'll have some more coming up sooner than later. As before, please leave your comments and feedback, and I'd love to see some improvements on the design. Have a great day.